What up, everybody? This is the head to make it in charge, and today I am doing a piggyback video off of Totally Not Mark's full rundown of the GT series. I'm stopping at the Super 17, not necessarily going all the way up to what happens, but just from where Super 17 starts and how it starts into where it ends. Totally Not Mark's video is really good. I suggest everyone please go and watch that video, like, subscribe, comment, interact, do whatever you can, build up his channel. I know his channel is bigger than mine, so but still do that anyway. And I ask you, please guys, do the same thing with me. Help me build my channel as I drop my content. But Totally Not Mark, I saw your video, my guy. You did an amazing job. You hit the nail on the head with this one. So I just want to piggyback off your video again and just add some points in there to my video as well, while as I'm showing the points. So again, you did your job, you did your thing, man, and I'm just gonna piggyback off of what you got going on. All right, so let's get into it.
Episode 1 begins, and there's a World Championship. I'm excited. I always love a good Dragon Ball tournament, but this is actually filler and has nothing to do with the story that follows, so I'll glaze over it as quickly as I can. Goku is fighting in the kids division because Mr. Satan is feeling depressed after what happened to Boo in the last arc, and so he wishes for Pan to take his place by winning the tournament. But I spoke too soon. As Mr. Satan is being given a massage, one of the tournament officials explains that the 4 finalists have been determined and Pan has elected to withdraw from the competition as she has no interest in being the successor to Mr. Satan. We switch over to Goku as the children's division finals get underway. He's facing some unassuming kid called Magure. I don't know. However, before he gets a chance to begin, Vegeta barges in like a WWE wrestler demanding a fight with Goku. While Goku is distracted, Magure pushes Goku out and wins. Thrilling stuff. Following that epic display, the Adult Division's championship match begins. Epichiri versus Papaya Man. The fight begins and Papaya Man gives Epichiri a German suplex, after which he immediately gives up. Papaya Man is the victor and Goku tells him to remove his mask. It's Oob. Because Pan had pulled out, Mr. Satan now has to face off against Oob, who takes the fight pretty seriously and starts thrashing on Mr. Satan. Right as he's about to deal the finishing blow to Mr. Satan, Boo stops Oob right in his tracks. I kinda love that. It totally caught me off guard, and Oob leaves himself wide open for Mr. Satan to land one punch, knocking him out of bounds. Satan gets emotional, believing that he won using his own abilities against Oob. That's a really sweet parting gift Majin Buu left for his grieving friend. This win gives Mr. Satan new life and vigor, encouraging him to remain the world's champion. All in all, this episode was pretty cute. Nice self-contained story that wraps everything up in a wholesome bow at the end. But now it's time for the main entree.
Now, before he moves on to the next chapter, I just want to say that the amount of respect that I have for Goku letting Hercule, let Pan shine in this tournament. And Goku understands that he has been duped when explained to Krillin, but to give credit to Hercule, saying he just wants what's best for Pan, that just shows that Goku himself is in agreement with this. Now, Goku in the past has always gave Hercule his due when it came to assisting with helping destroy Kid Buu by talking to everybody on Earth to lend the energy, up until when standing up to Baby when he's in his great ape form. Goku has let Hercule know, hey, you are Earth's champion. You are a hero. And to have Goku confirm that to Hercule, I'm pretty sure that means the world to Hercule. And Hercule has let Goku know that he is also a hero. He understands this. In the beginning, he thought that everybody was just putting on the light show, weren't really fighting. He has come to know that Goku actually has strength that is beyond his understanding, and he is okay with that. Both of these men have been excellent grandfathers to Pan. So I really do appreciate this episode bringing me to this point and this being shown.
Episode 2. Dr. Mew is still alive!
I have several questions.
Wait, no, he finds himself walking aimlessly in hell when he runs into Dr. Gero. They decide to join forces in their efforts to bring an end to Son Goku. I have no idea how they're going to achieve this from hell, but I'm sure we're going to find out. Hard cut to Goku's house as his friends and family are having a get-together over dinner. A knock on the door reveals an injured Trunks on the verge of collapse. Before fainting, he utters, Android 17. Investigating the situation, they notice a massive hole in the clouds outside. As they observe this, King Kai begins ringing in Goku's ear, informing him that, for some reason, the living world and Otherworld have become stuck together. We later learn that this is due to an Android 17 in hell linking with Android 17 in the living world. From the outset, it looks as though Android 17 in the living world is being controlled in some capacity, either by the other android or Gero in hell. That much is honestly still not understood, and I hope you don't miss King Kai because that's literally the last time we see him in this arc. Once this is all explained, 17 challenges Goku to come to hell alone, because that would be the smart thing to do, in order to fight the people he sent there. Now, this arc frames it such that Goku is responsible for all the villains being placed in hell. What follows is the release from hell and pouring out onto Earth of all the villains. A news broadcast proceeds to show images of escaping villains, the vast majority of which Vegeta ended the lives of and not Goku. And just as a quick aside, when it comes to even major villains like Frieza and Cell, he might have defeated Frieza, but future Trunks sent him to Otherworld, and Cell was defeated by Gohan. Regardless of all of this, Goku accepts the challenge, blindly charging into the void alone, and while this is all happening, the forces of Earth defended from the villains that have been released. Naturally, when Goku goes up to hell to confront 17, Dr. Gero, and Dr. Mew, they give him the slip and proceed to Earth without him, trapping Goku in hell. Who could have seen that coming? But that's not all. The episode comes to a close, and it's revealed that Frieza and Cell remained in hell to face off against Goku.
Now, again, before we go into the next episode, gotta talk about this whole situation, which is confusing because no, nothing is clarified of how all of this comes to be. They try, but really it's just a failed attempt. So, starting off, we got Dr. Gero meeting a different version of himself, almost a different version of himself, same hair, same mustache, same age range. The only difference is Mew doesn't know that he is the creation and not the creator. And blue skin. They meet up. Hey, help me make... Hey, we're going to create an android. This is going to be Android 17. You're going to help me improve my creations. Now, the thing is, you made a copy of Android 17, who used to be a human. So is there just another human walking around looking like Android 17? So convenient maybe, or inconvenient? Or is it that you grabbed this 17 from a different timeline? Because translated in two ways, when 17 in hell tells the 17 on earth were separated from time and space, where two meant to be one. How is that possible when, again, 17 on Earth used to be human? Like, it doesn't make sense. Another point I need to add in is that 17's design is so complicated, you're going to need blueprints. Bulma needed to look at her blueprints when a piece of that spaceship fell off from Goku, Trunks, and Pan's ship. So obviously, Gero would have to do the same thing. And then you're gonna need a lab. You're telling me that hell is just so relaxed that two people can just roam around in hell. One can have a lab. One can have access to his blueprints, or just based off memory, being able to create another 17 and then somehow be able to mind control 17 from another dimension, from another time and space. That doesn't add up. I want to do a quick side note based off of Mark's side note. Yes, Goku's the one who defeated Frieza, and Trunks is the one that sent him to the afterlife. But because Frieza has suffered his first true defeat from Goku, and Trunks just giving him PSTD or whatever you call it, he's all of that is Goku. So he has a deep hatred for Goku on that matter. But again, Mark is totally right. Trunks is the one that sent him to the afterlife. It's just that Goku was the one that gave him his first defeat. So anyway, how you slice it, he gonna be mad at somebody. He gonna be mad at Goku. He could be mad at Trunks. Well, either way, Frieza, if he were to be successful, would have to go and find two people. And then not only that, how angry would he be if he found out the person who killed him, Trunks, was Vegeta's son? That would set him even more fire. So no matter how you slice it, Frieza would still be caught in a bind of who should he exact his revenge on first.
Episode 3 kicks off as Goku begins going toe-to-toe with Frieza and Cell, not being intimidated in the slightest, and exploding while powering up. It's not really a fight or even taken seriously by Goku, who literally surfs on a Kienzan thrown by Frieza. Needless to say, in a quick and embarrassing fashion, Goku begins dismantling the two warriors. However, one small hiccup. They are immortal in hell? I'll address that later. Smash cut again to Earth as we see Vegeta confronted by Nappa. This, I thought, was a perfect time for some dialogue between the two Saiyans, giving Vegeta a chance to express all the changes he has undergone since their last parting. But nope, he's gone in literally an instant. But fret not, 17 is here to take his place instead. We then cut back to the fight in Hell as Cell successfully absorbs Goku. But Goku somehow crawls back out? Since that wasn't successful, Frieza and Cell, using a new technique, send him to Hell's basement, or something. A place beneath the current hell they dwell within, underneath the clouds. At this point, I honestly have no idea what's going on. Once in this strange place, Goku becomes part of a stew prepared by this old woman. But that's not all, unfortunately. In this strange place, she places Goku in a number of strange and uncomfortable scenarios. I don't know what her goal is here exactly, and her preventing him from moving I don't even know is necessary. Can Goku even get out of here? Is it possible to do so under his own power? I have honestly no idea. Because of this lack of information, the tension that I assume they are trying to achieve doesn't exist or have the chance to exist, as I have no idea what the parameters of this realm even are. What's possible here? We cut to Earth as Android 17 encounters Android 18, managing to put her under some sort of mind control. My assumption is the same mind control 17 is currently under himself.
So, one thing I want to talk about again before we move into the next episode is the fight between Frieza and Cell. Now, Goku could have just knocked Frieza out. After being told, like, we're immortal down here, we can't die, makes no sense in terms of, like, you should have had a halo around your head to say that, to show that you're dead. And later and earlier in the episode, 17 told Trunks that all of Goku's enemies have been resurrected. So is it you're in hell but you're resurrected, but while you're in hell you can't die? That wouldn't have made any sense at all. Like, you still could have died. You would have just had a halo around your head, and then while you died in hell, you would have just simply not exist. Another thing is that Cell stands way more of a chance fighting against Goku due to the fact that he now has access to Super Saiyan 2 that's in his body. Remember, Cell has Vegeta cells in him, Goku cells, Frieza cells. He was designed by Dr. Gero. So for GT to be like, how we really should get back at Goku, resurrect 17. No, you should have resurrected Cell. Cell was definitely your greatest invention. You should have brought him back to deal with Goku. Again, all the stuff that happened in the Cell saga, Cell now has that here in GT. So to only use Cell to mimic the attacks of his friends and not succeed is like a slap in the face. Cell is definitely one of my favorite villains. And really, when it comes down to it, the buck stops with Cell. Cell had to be jumped by all the warriors the same way how Vegeta had to back in the Saiyan saga, right? So if you were to run the ones with with Cell again, that fight would have been way more interesting. We wouldn't have got these same key blast attacks that we see the Z Warriors got. We would have got some hand-to-hand combat, maybe some key attacks, but we were left with this. Now, another part that I wanted to bring up was Mark talked about Goku exploding in hell when he's powering up. A thing that I've seen that's been constant in GT is a lack of control of your power. Goku and Vegeta know that you should definitely have control of your power, even in Dragon Ball Z. Again, when they're preparing to fight against Cell, preparing for the Cell games, Trunks thought he was more powerful than his dad with that super buffed up form. Vegeta already knew that form was not going to be enough because you gain power, but you sacrifice your speed. And Goku and Gohan left the hyperbolic time chamber with, 6 days left with their training. But they decided to leave because, one, it would be torturous, and two, they really needed to gain the powers of Super Saiyan under control. Being able to do everyday things like, doing dishes, holding a plate. So having control of this power would help you to understand, would help them to control the ascended level better. So, now, that was a deep dive, right? In GT, Vegeta could already control his grade 8 form. But GT forgot about that and said that it was Baby controlling the mind, while Vegeta could have all the power, which made no sense. And then, as here again in Hell, Goku can just power up and explode. That doesn't make sense. The last point I wanted to bring out with a power control issue is the whole thing with the Dragon Balls reverting Goku down to a kid and then Goku not being able to use the instant transmission technique. That technique, even though it is a difficult skill to learn, Goku has mastered it before the Android Saga. He's mastered this technique. He spent some time on Yardrat and he learned this technique to the point he can do it in a fight. He can do it transporting people by transporting multitudes of people from Earth to the Tuffle planet. Now you're telling me that because he's a kid, he's not able to do it because he wasn't able to do it back in Dragon Ball, but he's able to go Super Saiyan 3 against Rildo, which requires more power, more strength, more, a higher form of control. So it's just inconsistent. So that's what I wanted to bring out. Mark, you're doing your thing, man. We're going to keep going with this video.
The fourth episode kicks off in a major way. Krillin attempts to reach 18 and 17 as all of this is going on, expressing his confusion as to why 17 is working for Jiro, thinking that he once resented him. Why is he working for him, he expresses. It seems to work for a moment, but quickly 17 snaps back under this evil influence, firing a blast straight through Krillin, leaving his body lifeless in the arms of his wife, Android 18. And man, does she lose it. Absolutely savaging and brutalizing her brother for what he's done, screaming to give Krillin back. It's honestly really powerful, raw stuff, and one of, if not the most powerful scenes I've ever seen from Android 18 since her introduction to the show. 17, however, is much more powerful than her, unfortunately, easily leaving her in a heap next to her husband before making his way to his doppelganger. Back in Hell, Frieza and Cell discover Goku after being frozen in ice by the old woman. Taking advantage of this, they charge their final blast to destroy the Saiyan. However, in the nick of time, Goku manages to break free from the ice. The ice can only keep those who are already dead frozen, apparently. apparently. And so he turns the tables on them using that very same ice trap. We switch back to Earth as the android 17 from Hell is evenly matched against Vegeta, who for some reason doesn't go Super Saiyan. But not for long. The other 17 arrives and quickly begins to change things. They fuse. I don't like this idea personally. This story didn't really convince or sell me on this concept successfully, and I'm really not a fan of the design personally, but let's see how things pan out. They all begin rushing Super Android 17 because that's the smart thing to do in this situation, resulting in pretty much how you imagine it going down. Everyone getting decked. And while this is all happening, Goku is trying to figure out a way to get out of Hell. Apparently Yama can't do it as something outside of his control or knowledge is preventing him. As this is said, it shows the Dragon Balls cracking. I have no idea what this means yet. Piccolo during this interrupts this line of thought. Somehow, requesting to be placed in Hell. So, Yama can put Piccolo in Hell but not take Goku out? Seems convenient. Anyways, Piccolo has a plan. Episode.
Now, I want to talk about this part right here. The whole 17, 18, and Krillin thing, right? If Gero asks Mew to help him improve his androids, right? And the android 17 that is on Earth is now under mind control, right? This is supposed to help out, right? But it's easily broken when Krillin asks 18 and 17, like, why would y'all work for him? Y'all remember, y'all killed him, 17 specifically, and you resented him for giving you emotions, right? If your mind control can be broken that easily, even though it didn't work because he does snap back into it, like, the plan was doomed to fail, right? The plan was definitely doomed to fail, right? If I'm able to hit you with some memory and you're able to remember that, the mind control is weak. That's what I mean. So, not only that, you come to recruit Android 18, your sister, to join you, right? You're on your way to fuse with another version of yourself, and you want your sister to come along. What that again doesn't make sense because you're on your way to get stronger, but you're gonna leave your sister the same. Again, Dr. Gero, if you were going to make a Super 17, why not make a Super 18? So again, this whole interaction, while was needed for this story, Dr. Gero's plan holds no water. This part right here that Mark touched on definitely is a touching moment. Throughout the Dragon Ball GT series, we've seen Android 18 give Krillin a hard time, even when she was possessed by Baby. But to see that beneath all of that, she truly does love him, and I love this. The last part that I want to touch on is the whole King Yama can't get Goku out of Hell, can't bring Piccolo into Hell thing is really, not understood. Because the mechanics of itself is just really not explained well. So, 17 in Hell and on Earth open up a pathway from Hell to Earth, and that interferes with what King Yama has to do. Doesn't make any sense. Now, if you're talking about like the energies and this messing with your powers and the ability to do stuff, that would be acceptable. But you end up bringing Piccolo into Hell. Like, that contradicts that. So if you're able to bring a person from heaven into Hell, but not Hell to Earth, is the energy just blocking from Hell to Earth, and not blocking the way from? That doesn't make sense because you still got to make transfers. It should be messing with the whole balance of transfer and not just one way. Another thing is that you yourself don't have to do it. You have help. Fortune Teller Baba, Dragon Ball GT be pulling canon events or something that's canon from Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z to its own story, but yet somehow Fortune Teller Baba is forgotten in all of this chaos. So there's avenues and ways that could have been explored but have been forgotten about, and you're letting paperwork get in the way, King Yama. You're not really doing your job well. So that's all I have to say on that situation. Let's go to the next episode now.
5. Okay, so Piccolo's plan is to connect the Earth with Otherworld the same way the two 17s did at the beginning, using his connection with Dende. Okay, first of all, he can communicate with Dende beyond the grave. Okay, fine. I mean, I thought you needed someone like King Kai to do that, but whatever. What I want to know is, why did Piccolo need to be brought to hell in the first place? Couldn't he have communicated this to Goku and told him to make a connection with him and one of his sons earlier? Surely they are more similar than Piccolo and Dende are, and Piccolo ends up not even being able to do it until Goku helps him anyway. Whatever. Once the gateway is open, Goku uses this as an opportunity to leave and join the battle on Earth against Super Android 17. However, before he arrives, Vegeta is on the verge of being sent to Otherworld himself. That is, until Pan takes things into her own hands, holding Dr. Gero hostage with Gil, the real MVP. She demands that Super Android 17 stop in his tracks, and he does. He stops aiming at Vegeta and switches to Dr. Gero and Pan. This swerve is insanely bad. Dr. Mew begins laughing, facing the other doctor, practically twirling his mustache, explaining that while they were developing the android in Otherworld, off-screen might I add, he enhanced him such that he would only listen to his commands. And needless to say, this results in Gero's demise. Vegeta quickly regains his footing and begins blustering about how he doesn't need Kakarot, how he's the real #1, etc. Only 2 seconds later, be saved by Kakarot, bringing the episode to a close. We are now entering the final 2 episodes, and so begins the battle between Super Android 17 and Goku. Goku punches the android once and sends him literally to the other side of the planet. Android 17 proceeds to express how Goku is letting him down. Very cliche. At this point, I'm just waiting for Super Saiyan 4. Yet Goku persists in only using the regular Super Saiyan form. Also, as another quick aside, the sheer number of times Android 17 in this arc has pushed back his hair in the exact same way is more than the number of scenes Piccolo has had in this entire series so far. Just saying. Anyways, Goku gets right up into his face and fires a point-blank Kamehameha to zero effect. And so, finally, Super Saiyan 4 comes out and we can start taking things seriously. We then smash cut to possibly the last thing I expected. A short scene with Chi-Chi, Bulma, Videl, and Bra as they make plans to join the action too. I have no idea what's happening anymore. Anyways, the android is absorbing Goku's blast, and so naturally, because this is how the fight is written, Goku begins firing an enormous and unreasonable number of random ki blasts that are completely out of character for him. Also, Super Android 17 has this ability to absorb energy despite both Android 17 specifically not having that ability at all. And even if I were to ignore that, the fight is so boring. Because the android can absorb his ki attacks, when Goku learns this, he acts as if his hands are tied. Goku is not just a ki attack guy. The entire fight with Frieza on Namek, while it did have ki attacks incorporated, the vast majority was martial arts hand-to-hand close quarters combat. And another thing, to confirm that the android was absorbing the attacks, Goku fires his strongest blast at him. So, one of 2 things would happen in this instance. Either his assumption that he does in fact absorb his energy would be proven correct and he does absorb that energy, or he'd blow up the Earth because he's aiming downwards. Episode 7. The final episode kicks things off as the girls are making their way to the action for some reason. Goku manages to dodge the android's big attack and teleports behind him using all of his limbs to restrain him. In this moment, Goku begins to gather power and releases a giant burst of energy. As the dust clears, Goku is in his infant base form once again and the android is still alive. Apparently he raised his barrier or something. Super Android 17 begins charging the same blast he did earlier to finish off Goku, when out of nowhere Android 18 appears on the battlefield. She begins reprimanding him for sending Krillin to Otherworld, and Goku hears this news. She apparently survived the last attack at the hands of her brother because he was purposely avoiding her vital area that once housed a bomb placed there by the late Dr. Gero. However, it has, unbeknownst to Android 17, been removed by the dragon, and so Android 18 begins to bluff. While this is all going on, Dr. Mew begins calling 17 pathetic and a coward for not firing on Goku and 18 anyway, resulting in, you guessed it, Dr. Mew being blown up instead at the hands of 17. 18 uses this moment of distraction as an opportunity to unload a bombardment of ki attacks on the super android, resulting in him absorbing all of the energy she releases. Goku notices that when he absorbs the energy, he needs to have his body in a particular pose. What a strange design choice, leaving himself wide open for attack, and Goku does just that, flying right through him with a dragon fist and landing consecutive Kamehamehas, finishing the fight. Not a fan. The episode wraps up as they conclude that 17 must have known about the bomb and still missed intentionally because she was his sister. The girls arrive but are too late and they take care of any and all loose ends with the Dragon Balls. Oh boy, where do I begin? Okay, Dragon Ball GT's first arc was mindless adventure. Baby's arc was fighting mixed with adventure, each facet fighting and adventure serving a purpose in telling the story of the baby arc. In this Super Android 17 arc, it's the opposite of the first. Instead of mindless adventure, it's just mindless fighting.
So that's where I want to stop his video. He did an amazing job, explaining everything of what's going on. I just want to touch down on a few more, details in the fight of, 17 and Vegeta. So let me get into that real quick. If I haven't before, then let me state that 17 and Piccolo back in the Namek saga, not the Namek saga, sorry, the Android saga, were on par with each other. I do believe that Piccolo would have won the fight. Just me being a little bit biased, really. But what the show had me see, they were on par. 17 tells Piccolo, you are a bone and flesh creation. You're going to tire out. And Piccolo tells 17 that you'll make a mistake way before that will happen. So off of that, I could assume, and I will assume, that Piccolo will have the upper hand before he gets tired out. They were on par with each other. So, but Piccolo is a more experienced fighter. Now, later on, Cell gets his hands on Android 17 and absorbs him. And Cell ends up becoming more powerful than Piccolo. But that doesn't matter because Vegeta steps in to fight. And Vegeta is whooping Imperfect Cell. So, at this point in time, even if Cell is having the power of 17 inside him, it doesn't matter. Vegeta was in the hyperbolic time chamber, training with his son, getting stronger. And remember, Trunks thinks that because he has this new form, that muscular, bulky form, that he's powerful, more powerful than his father. And this is not the case. Vegeta does reach that level of Ascended Saiyan, but it's not the Super Saiyan 2 transformation. But it is enough to take out Imperfect Cell. Next, I want to bring up Majin Vegeta. Vegeta makes a deal with Babidi that he will give him his body if he gives him power. He tricks Babidi into giving him the power. Vegeta has been in control of his mind the whole time. So we have Vegeta Super Saiyan 2. Yes, he is Majin, boosted, whatever. He gets help from Majin to reach this level, but he has it nonetheless. If GT would have remembered all of this stuff, right? Because they don't have a problem pulling canon events into their show, we would not have gotten Vegeta being treated like a paddle ball, and Super 17 would not have been. So we're 34 minutes in, almost 35 minutes in. I don't really want to drag this out any longer. So again, everybody, please go check out Totally Not Mark's video. Share, subscribe, do all of that stuff. Boost his channel up. I'm asking y'all, please do the same. Totally Not Mark. Again, shouting you out. You did your thing with the whole GT rundown video. I had to stop at the Super 17 because anything past that would have been spoilers for me. So I'm working my way up towards that. I subscribe to your channel, man. And, you know, I hope that you reach out and, you know, do the same thing with mine, helping me build mines up. Send some people my way, man. But again, I appreciate the video, and I will be dropping more content. All right, peace.